They shoved me in the kitchen like I was nobody. My son's wedding spinning on without me. I stood there, heart cracking, watching through a greasy window as he danced with his new bride. The one who decided I didn't belong. I paid for every flower, every glass of wine. But they sat me by dirty dishes, like I was just the help. My hands shook, but I smiled, said nothing, and made a choice that would change everything. One phone call, and I tore their perfect day apart. I was Linda, 64 years old, a single mom who gave everything for my son Ryan. That day, I wore a pale blue dress, ironed twice, my gray hair curled just right. I thought it'd be my moment too, a day to feel proud. Instead, I stood by a sink full of plates, the smell of burnt garlic sticking to my skin. The kitchen was loud, pots banging, waiters rushing, but it felt like the world went quiet when I saw Ryan through the window. He laughed, his arm around Jessica, the bride who planned this. Nobody told me I'd be back here. No seat at the tables with gold napkins. No name on the fancy program. Just a plastic chair by a trash can. A paper plate with cold chicken in front of me. If you love stories like this, hit that subscribe button for more. I got there early, thinking I'd hug Ryan before the ceremony. He was my only kid, the one I raised alone after his dad left us. I worked nights at the diner, saved every tip for his school, his clothes, his dreams. This wedding, I paid for it all. $30,000 from my savings, every cent I had. Jessica wanted a big venue, a live band, a cake taller than me. I said yes to everything, thinking it'd make Ryan happy. But when I walked in, nobody looked at me. Not Ryan, not Jessica, not her parents Karen and Tom, who acted like they owned the place. A waiter, a kid with pimples, pointed to the kitchen. They said you're supposed to wait there, ma'am, he mumbled, looking at the floor. I blinked, my throat tight. There? I asked. He nodded, then ran off. I stood there, my purse clutched tight. The one Ryan gave me for my 60th birthday. It had a little heart charm, his name scratched inside. I thought about all the nights I stayed up, sewing his Halloween costumes, checking his homework, driving him to soccer. I thought he'd see me today, really see me, but he didn't. The music started loud and happy, and I peeked through the window. Jessica's mom, Karen, was giving a speech, her voice all sweet. "We're so proud of Ryan, our new son," she said. The crowd cheered. I waited for my name, for someone to say, "Linda, his mom made this possible." Nothing. Just more claps, more laughs, like I wasn't even there. My chest hurt, like something was pressing down hard. I sat on that plastic chair, the legs wobbly, and stared at the chicken on my plate. It was dry, the sauce congealed. A waitress, maybe 20, dropped a soda can in front of me. "You okay?" she asked, her eyes soft. I nodded, but I wasn't. I wanted to scream, to run out and ask Ryan why he let this happen. But I didn't. I was his mom. I couldn't ruin his day. So I stayed quiet, my fingers digging into my palms. The kitchen door swung open, and I saw Jessica. She looked perfect, her white dress sparkling, her hair like a movie star's. She glanced at me, just for a second, and smiled. Not a kind smile. A smile that said, "Stay where you are." My stomach twisted. She knew I was here. She wanted me here. I pulled out my phone, my hands shaking so bad I almost dropped it. I scrolled through the wedding budget I'd saved. Every payment, every deposit. Flowers, $4,000. Band, $6,000. Venue, $15,000. I even paid for Jessica's dress, $2,500, because she said it was the one. I saw a text from my friend Susan, who was at the wedding. "Linda, where are you?" "They're cutting the cake." I didn't reply. I couldn't. Then I saw something else. A Venmo note from Jessica to her friend. "Linda's paying for it all. Let's make it big." My heart stopped. She didn't just forget me. She used me. And Ryan let her. I looked at the kitchen door again, the window smudged with grease. Ryan was dancing now, his tie loose, his face all smiles. He didn't look for me, not once. I thought about all the times I told myself, "He's busy, he'll call later." But he never did. Not really. I was just the mom who paid, who fixed, who waited. Something snapped inside me, quiet but sharp, like a thread breaking. I dialed the florist. "Cancel the brunch flowers for tomorrow," I said, my voice steady. "Don't send the final payment." Then the band. No second set tonight. We're done. Then the bar. Shut it down at 10. No more tabs. Each call was quick, calm, like I was crossing off a list. When I hung up, I felt something new. Not anger. Not sadness. Power. The kitchen was still loud, but I didn't care. I stood up, smoothed my dress, and looked at the window one last time. Ryan and Jessica were laughing, the crowd around them cheering. Let them have their moment. I was done being invisible. I walked to the back door, the one that led to the parking lot, and stepped outside. The air was cool, the stars bright. My phone buzzed. Susan again. Linda, what's going on? The bar's closing early. I didn't answer. I got in my car, my hands steady now, and drove away. I didn't know what would happen next, but I knew one thing. I wasn't going back to that kitchen. Not ever. I sat in my car outside the hotel, the engine off, the night quiet except for crickets. My purse felt heavy on the seat, that letter from Frank burning a hole in my mind. I wanted to read it, but I was scared. What could he say about Ryan that I didn't know? My hands shook as I pulled it out, the paper crinkling. I stared at Frank's handwriting, those slanted letters I used to love. I took a deep breath and started reading. Linda, I lied to you, it said. Ryan isn't yours. Not by blood. He's my son from someone else. I couldn't tell you then. My heart stopped, like the world flipped upside down. Ryan, my boy, wasn't mine? I read it again, my eyes blurry. Frank said he brought Ryan to me when he was a baby. Said I was the only one who could love him right. I dropped the letter, my chest tight like I couldn't breathe. I thought of every moment. Ryan's first steps, his little hand in mine. The way he called me mom, when he was scared. None of it was real. I wanted to scream, to tear the letter up, but I just sat there frozen. My phone buzzed, snapping me out of it. A text from Ryan. Mom, we need to talk. Where are you? I stared at the words. Did he know? Had Frank told him? My fingers hovered over the keyboard, but I couldn't type. Instead, I called Susan. I read it, I said, my voice shaking. Frank said Ryan's not mine. She gasped. Oh, Linda, no. Come to my place. You shouldn't be alone. I didn't want to go, but I didn't want to stay there either. I started the car and drove to Susan's house, the letter crumpled in my purse. Susan's place was warm, the smell of coffee filling the air. She hugged me tight when I walked in, her arms like a lifeline. Tell me everything, she said, sitting me on her couch. I showed her the letter, my hands still shaky. She read it, her face going pale. This is awful, she said. But Linda, you raised him. You're his mom, blood or not. Her words hit me hard, but they didn't fix the hurt. I thought of all the years I gave everything, thinking Ryan was mine. Did he know? I asked. Susan shook her head. I don't think so. But Jessica's family, they're hiding something. Those papers I found. There's more. She pulled out another sheet, one I hadn't seen. It was a bank statement, Jessica's parents' names on it. They'd been withdrawing money from my account, small amounts, for months. They hacked your card, Susan said. Probably used the wedding as cover. My head spun. Jessica's family wasn't just cruel, they were thieves. I felt like a fool, like I'd been played from the start. How did I miss this? I said, my voice breaking. Susan grabbed my hand. You trusted them, Linda. That's not your fault. But it felt like my fault. I thought of Karen's fake smiles, Tom's loud laughs, the way they called Ryan our son. They knew I'd pay, knew I'd stay quiet. My anger grew hot and sharp. I wanted to confront them, to make them pay. But Susan stopped me. Not yet, she said. We need proof. Let's go to the bank tomorrow. I nodded, but inside I was burning. Then the doorbell rang. Susan frowned, checking her phone. Who's that? She muttered, walking to the door. I heard a voice I knew too well, Ryan's. Is my mom here? He asked. My heart raced. I didn't want to see him. Not after the letter. Not after everything. Susan looked at me, waiting for my nod. I shook my head, but Ryan pushed past her. Mom, what's going on? He said, standing in the living room. His tie was gone, his shirt wrinkled, like he'd been fighting with someone. Jessica's crying. The wedding's a mess and you're gone. Why? His voice was loud, like I owed him answers. I stood up, my hands clenched. Why? I said, my voice low. You let them put me in a kitchen, Ryan. You let them erase me. He blinked like he didn't expect that. I didn't know, he said, but his eyes darted away like he was lying. Jessica said it was better for the photos. I laughed, but it wasn't funny. Better for the photos? I said. I paid for your day, and you didn't even look for me. He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. Susan stepped in. Ryan, you should go, she said. He looked at me, his face soft for a second like the kid I used to know. Mom, please, he said. Let's talk. But I couldn't. Not yet. Go back to your wife, I said, my voice cold. He left, the door clicking shut, and I sank onto the couch, my heart in pieces. Susan sat next to me, quiet. You did good, she said. You stood up. I didn't feel good. I felt empty, like everything I believed was gone. But under that, something else was growing, strength maybe. I thought of Mary's words at the hotel, about putting things down. I wasn't there yet, but I was closer. I looked at the bank statement again, my jaw tight. Jessica's family thought they could take from me and walk away. They were wrong. I'd go to the bank with Susan, find out how deep this went. And Ryan? I didn't know what to do about him. But I knew one thing. I wasn't his doormat anymore. I drove away from the wedding, my car's engine humming soft under the night sky. My phone kept buzzing. Susan, then Ryan, then Jessica's mom, Karen. I didn't answer. My heart was still racing from those phone calls. The ones that shut down their perfect party. I felt alive, like I'd been asleep for years and just woke up. But my chest was heavy too, like I'd lost something I couldn't name. I pulled into a gas station, the neon lights bright, and sat there, staring at my hands. They were wrinkled, rough from years of washing dishes, folding laundry, holding Ryan when he cried. I didn't know where I was going, but I wasn't going home. Not yet. My phone lit up again. A voicemail from Ryan. I hesitated, my finger hovering over the play button. Mom, what's going on? His voice cracked. The bar closed early, and Jessica's freaking out. Where are you? Call me. He sounded mad, not worried. Not sorry. I deleted it. Then a text from Susan popped up. Linda, I found something in the bride's room. You need to see this. My stomach flipped. Susan was my best friend, the one who always knew when something was off. I texted back. What is it? She replied. Meet me at the hotel. Room 204. Now. I didn't want to go back, but something in her words pulled me. I turned the car around. The hotel was fancy, all glass and chandeliers, the kind of place I'd never stay on my own. I found room 204 and knocked. Susan opened the door, her face pale. Linda, you won't believe this, she said, pulling me inside. On the bed was a stack of papers, some with my name on them. I saw Jessica's sister leave these, Susan whispered. I grabbed them before anyone noticed. I picked up the top sheet. It was an email printout, from Jessica to her mom, dated 2 months ago. Linda's paying for everything, it said. Let's add the champagne fountain and extra lights. She won't say no. My hands shook. I flipped to the next page. A list of wedding guests with notes. Next to my name. Kitchen. Out of sight. I felt sick, like the air was gone from the room. Out of sight, I said, my voice barely a whisper. Susan grabbed my arm. Linda, they planned this. Jessica didn't want you in the pictures. Said you'd ruin the vibe. My knees went weak, and I sat on the bed. All those months, Jessica's fake smiles, her thank you, Linda, every time I sent a check, they were lies. And Ryan, he had to know. I thought of his face at the wedding, laughing, never looking for me. Why didn't he stop her? I asked Susan. She shook her head. I don't know, honey, but you don't deserve this. Tears stung my eyes, but I didn't let them fall. I wasn't ready to break. Not yet. Then Susan handed me something else. A small envelope, yellowed, tucked in the papers. My name was on it, in handwriting I hadn't seen in years. It was from Frank, Ryan's dad, who left when Ryan was 5. I opened it, my fingers slow, like I knew it had hurt. Inside was a letter, dated 10 years ago before Frank died. Linda, it started. I'm sorry for everything. There's something you need to know about Ryan. My heart stopped. I couldn't read more, not yet. I shoved the letter in my purse, my hands shaking. What's in it? Susan asked. I don't know, I said. But I can't deal with it now. The room felt too small, like the walls were closing in. I needed air. I left Susan and walked to the hotel lobby, my head spinning. Jessica's plan, Ryan's silence, Frank's letter. It was too much. I sat on a couch, people passing by with their fancy dresses and loud laughs. A woman, maybe my age, stopped. "You okay, dear?" she asked. Her voice was kind, like the waitress in the kitchen. I nodded, but my face must have given me away. "Weddings can be hard," she said, sitting next to me. "I'm Mary, by the way." I didn't want to talk, but her eyes were warm, so I told her bits. About the kitchen, the papers, the letter. She listened, nodding. "Sounds like you've been carrying too much," she said. "Maybe it's time to put it down." Her words hit Publix me hard, like she saw right through me. My phone buzzed again. Jessica this time. "Linda, how could you cancel everything? You ruined our day." I stared at the screen, my anger boiling. Ruined her day. She put me in a kitchen, used my money, erased me. I typed back. "You got what you wanted. I'm done." I hit send, my hands steady now. Mary smiled, like she knew what I'd done. "Good for you," she said. I didn't feel good, not really. I felt raw, like I'd been cut open. But I also felt strong, like I was finally standing up. I thanked Mary and stood, my purse heavy with that letter. I didn't know what Frank wrote, but I knew it'd change everything. I walked to my car, the night air cool on my face. I wasn't ready to read it, but I was ready for something else. To stop being the mom who waited, who paid, who stayed quiet. I stayed at Susan's that night, curled up on her couch, the bank statement and Frank's letter on the coffee table like ghosts I couldn't shake. My eyes burned from crying, but my mind wouldn't stop. Ryan wasn't mine? Jessica's family stole from me? It was too much, like my whole life was a lie. Susan made tea, her kitchen light soft, but I barely tasted it. "We'll figure this out," she said, her voice steady. "Tomorrow we'll go to the bank." I nodded, but inside I was a mess. I kept seeing Ryan's face when I told him to leave, that flicker of guilt. Did he know about the letter? About the money? I wanted to believe he didn't, but my heart wasn't sure. Morning came fast. The sun too bright through Susan's curtains. We drove to the bank, my hands tight on my purse. The teller, a young guy with glasses, looked at the statement Susan found. "This is serious," he said, typing fast. "Your account's been linked to unauthorized transfers for 6 months. 6 months. My stomach dropped. That was when Ryan and Jessica got engaged. "How much?" I asked, my voice small. He checked his screen. "About $8,000. I felt like I'd been punched. $8,000 gone, on top of the $30,000 for the wedding. Susan grabbed my hand. "Can you trace it?" she asked. The teller nodded. "It's linked to an account under Tom and Karen Wilson. We'll freeze it and call the police." Police? I hadn't thought that far, but I nodded. I wanted them to pay. As we left the bank, my phone rang. It was Mary, the woman from the hotel. "Linda, I heard what happened," she said. "I'm so sorry." I was confused. "Heard what?" I asked. She paused. "It's all over the wedding group chat. Jessica's telling everyone you ruined her day, that you're jealous." My blood boiled. Jealous? She put me in a kitchen, stole my money. And now this? "There's more," Mary said. "I saw Jessica's sister, Emily, at the hotel. She was bragging about how they handled you. Said they planned to keep you out of the way." My hands shook. It wasn't just Jessica. Her whole family was in on it. I thanked Mary, my voice tight, and hung up. Susan looked at me. "What now?" she asked. "I need to see Ryan," I said. "He needs to know." We drove to Ryan's apartment, the one I helped him rent years ago. My heart was pounding as I knocked. Jessica opened the door, her face red, like she'd been crying. "You," she spat. "How dare you show up after what you did?" I pushed past her, not caring. Ryan was on the couch, his head in his hands. "Mom," he said, standing up. "What's going on?" I held up the bank statement. "Your in-laws stole $8,000 from me," I said. "And Jessica planned to hide me in the kitchen. Did you know?" His eyes went wide, but he didn't answer. Jessica laughed, sharp and mean. "You're pathetic, Linda. Nobody wanted you there. You're not even his real mom." My heart stopped. She knew. Ryan's face went pale. "What?" he said, looking at her, then me. "What's she talking about?" I pulled out Frank's letter, my hands shaking. "Your dad wrote this," I said, my voice breaking. "He said you're not mine. Not by blood. Ryan grabbed the letter, his hands trembling as he read. No, he whispered. This isn't true. Jessica smirked. Oh, it's true. My mom found out months ago. Frank told her before he died. I felt like the floor was gone. Karen knew. And told Jessica, but not me? Ryan looked at me, his eyes wet. Mom, I didn't know, he said. I swear. But I saw it in his face, guilt, like he'd suspected something. You knew enough to let them hide me, I said, my voice cold. He didn't answer, just looked away. Jessica stepped closer, her voice low. You should have stayed in the kitchen, Linda. This is our life now. Something snapped inside me. I turned to her, my anger like fire. You used me, I said. You stole from me. This isn't over. I walked out, Susan behind me, my heart racing. Ryan called after me. Mom, wait, but I kept going. In the car, Susan was quiet, then said, You were fierce back there. I didn't feel fierce. I felt broken, but also awake, like I was seeing everything clear for the first time. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Linda, it's Emily, Jessica's sister. Meet me tomorrow. I have something to tell you. My stomach twisted. Another trap? Or something else? I didn't know. But I was done running. I'd meet her and face whatever came next. The next morning, I sat at Susan's kitchen table, the smell of burnt toast in the air. My phone was in front of me, Emily's text glowing on the screen. Meet me at the diner on 5th Street, 10 a.m. Come alone. My stomach was in knots. Was this a trick? Jessica's sister wasn't exactly my friend. But something in me, maybe that new spark of strength, said I had to go. Susan wasn't happy. Linda, it's not safe, she said, stirring her coffee. What if she's setting you up? I shook my head. I need to know what she wants, I said. I'm tired of being in the dark. Susan sighed but nodded. I'll be nearby just in case. I hugged her, grateful for her, and headed out, my purse heavy with Frank's letter and the bank statement. The diner was busy, all clinking plates and loud chatter. I spotted Emily in a corner booth, her blonde hair pulled back, her face nervous. She wasn't like Jessica, no smug smile, no fancy clothes. She looked scared. I slid into the booth, my heart pounding. What do you want, Emily? I asked, my voice steady. She leaned forward, her hands fidgeting. I'm sorry, Linda, she said. I didn't want any of this. I frowned. Any of what? She looked around, like someone might hear, then slid a USB drive across the table. This has proof, she said. Emails, texts, bank records. My parents and Jessica. They've been planning to cut you out for months. They used Ryan to get your money. I stared at the USB, my chest tight. Why are you telling me now? I asked. Emily's eyes filled with tears. Because I'm done with them, she said. They've lied to me too. They said you were crazy, that you'd ruin the wedding. But I saw you in the kitchen, Linda. I saw what they did. Her voice broke, and for a second, I felt sorry for her. But I wasn't ready to trust her. What's on this? I asked, holding the USB. Everything, she said. Even stuff about Frank's letter. They knew about Ryan's real mom years ago. They kept it from you to control him. My head spun. Jessica's family knew about Ryan's origins and used it? I slipped the USB in my purse, my hands shaking. Thank you, I said, but my voice was cold. Emily nodded, wiping her eyes. And I left the diner, my mind racing. Outside, Susan was waiting in her car. I got in and showed her the USB. Emily says it's proof, I said. About everything. Susan's eyes widened. We need to check this, she said. We drove to her house, my heart heavy with what Emily said. At Susan's, we plugged the USB into her laptop. There were folders, emails, screenshots, bank transfers. One email from Karen to Jessica caught my eye. Linda's account is open. Take what we need for the honeymoon. She won't notice. Another was a text from Tom to Ryan. Keep your mom quiet. We'll handle the rest. My stomach turned. Ryan was in on it. I clicked another file. A photo of a woman I didn't know holding a baby. A note was attached. Ryan's real mom, 1990. I felt like I'd been hit. Frank's letter was true, and Jessica's family had proof all along. I pushed the laptop away, my eyes burning. They played me, I said, my voice shaking. Susan hugged me. They played everyone, Linda. But you're fighting back. I wasn't sure I was fighting. I felt crushed, like everything I loved was a lie. Then my phone rang. Ryan. I didn't want to answer, but Susan nodded. Hear him out, she said. I picked up. Mom, I need to see you, he said, his voice low. Jessica's gone too far. I found something. My heart skipped. What? I asked. Not over the phone, he said. Meet me at the park by our old house. Please. I hesitated. Was this another trick? But his voice sounded different, like he was scared. Okay, I said and hung up. Susan frowned. You sure? She asked. I nodded. I need to know what he's got. The park was quiet, just a few kids on swings. Ryan was on a bench, his face tired, like he hadn't slept. He stood when he saw me holding a notebook. Mom, I'm sorry, he said, his voice breaking. I didn't know everything, but I knew enough. I should have stopped them. I crossed my arms, my heart hard. What did you find? I asked. He opened the notebook, showing me a list of dates and numbers. Jessica's been taking money from you since last year, he said. I found her laptop open. She didn't know I saw. I stared at the numbers, $10, 000 more than the bank said. Why didn't you tell me? I asked, my voice sharp. He looked down. I was scared. Jessica said you'd hate me if I told. I wanted to scream, but I saw his eyes, wet like the boy I raised. You let them hurt me, I said. He nodded, tears falling. I know. I'm sorry. Before I could answer, my phone buzzed, a voicemail from Mary. I played it, Ryan listening. Linda, it's Mary. Jessica's at the hotel, telling everyone you stole from her family. She's filing a complaint. Be careful. My blood ran cold. Jessica was turning it around, making me the villain? Ryan's face went pale. She's lying, he said. I'll tell them the truth. I looked at him, not sure I could trust him, but his eyes were steady, like he meant it. You better, I said, my voice hard. I walked away, the notebook in my hand, my heart a mix of hurt and fire. Jessica thought she could win this. She was wrong. I'd use Emily's USB, Ryan's list, and whatever else I had to stop her. I drove away from the park, Ryan's notebook on the passenger seat, my hands tight on the wheel. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange, but my mind was dark, spinning with Jessica's lies, Emily's USB, and Ryan's apology. Could I trust him? His tears looked real, but so did his silence at the wedding. And Jessica, claiming I stole from her? The nerve of it made my blood boil. I needed to act, to stop her before she twisted everything. I called Susan, my voice shaky. Jessica's saying I stole from her family, I said. She's filing a complaint. Susan cursed under her breath. We need to get ahead of this, she said. Bring the USB and Ryan's notebook to my place. We'll go to the police. I nodded, even though she couldn't see me, and headed to her house, my heart pounding like a drum. Susan's living room was a mess of papers and coffee cups, but it felt safe, like a bunker. She plugged the USB into her laptop again, her face serious. Let's see what else is here, she said. We found more emails. Karen telling Jessica to keep Linda busy. During the wedding planning, Tom bragging about easy money from my account. Then a bombshell. A recorded call between Jessica and her mom, dated a week before the wedding. Linda's too soft, Jessica said, her voice cold. She'll pay for anything if we push. And Ryan? He's too weak to stop us. My stomach twisted. Ryan knew they were using me, and he let it happen. Susan looked at me, her eyes soft. This hurts, I know, she said. But this is proof. The police will eat it up. I nodded, but my heart was breaking all over again. Then my phone buzzed, a text from Mary. Linda, check the wedding group chat. Jessica's posted a video. My hands shook as I opened the app. There was Jessica crying, her makeup perfect. Linda ruined our wedding, she said to the camera. She canceled everything and stole money from my parents. We're devastated. The comments were brutal. What a horrible woman. Poor Jessica. My chest burned like I couldn't breathe. She was painting me as the villain, and people believed her. Susan grabbed my phone. This is nonsense, she said. We've got the truth right here. But I felt trapped, like the world was closing in. What if the police believe her? I asked, my voice small. Susan shook her head. They won't. Not with this evidence. Before we could plan more, the doorbell rang. Susan frowned, checking her peephole. It's Ryan, she said. My stomach dropped. I wasn't ready to face him again, but I nodded. He walked in, his face pale, holding a crumpled envelope. "Mom, you need to see this," he said, his voice low. He handed me the envelope. It was old, like Frank's letter, with my name in the same handwriting. "I found it in Jessica's stuff," he said. "It's from Dad." My hands trembled as I opened it. Another letter from Frank, dated a year after the first. "Linda," it said, "I told Karen about Ryan's real mom. She's using it to control him. Be careful. They're not what they seem." My head spun. Frank warned me years ago, and I never knew? Ryan watched me read, his eyes wet. "I didn't know about this," he said. "But I knew Jessica was pushing you away. I should have stopped her." I wanted to believe him, but my trust was thin. "Why now, Ryan?" I asked, my voice sharp. "Why help me now?" He looked down, his hands shaking. "Because I saw Jessica's video," he said. "She's lying to everyone, and I can't let her win. I messed up, Mom, but I want to fix it." His voice cracked. And for a second, I saw the boy who needed me, the one I raised. But I wasn't soft anymore. "You want to fix it?" I said. "Then come with us to the police. Tell them everything." He nodded, his jaw tight. "I will," he said. Susan clapped her hands. "That's it, Linda. We've got her now." But as we packed up the USB, notebook, and letters, my phone rang, an unknown number. I answered, my heart racing. It was Emily, her voice panicked. "Linda, don't go to the police yet," she said. "Jessica knows I gave you the USB. She's coming for you. She's got something else, another letter from Frank." My blood ran cold. Another letter? What more could Frank say? "What's in it?" I asked. Emily's voice shook. "I don't know, but she's saying it proves you knew about Ryan all along. She's going to the police first." I hung up, my hands shaking. Jessica was one step ahead, twisting the truth again. Susan looked at me, worried. "What's wrong?" she asked. I told her, my voice barely steady. Ryan's face went white. "She's lying," he said, but I wasn't sure. What if there was another letter? What if I'd missed something all these years? I sat down, my head in my hands. The weight of it all, Frank's lies, Jessica's schemes, Ryan's betrayal, was crushing me. But then I thought of the kitchen, that greasy window, the way Jessica smiled when she saw me there. I wasn't that woman anymore, the one who stayed quiet. I stood up, my voice firm. "We're going to the police now," I said. "Jessica can't scare me." Susan nodded, grabbing the evidence. Ryan looked at me, his eyes steady. "I'm with you, Mom," he said. I didn't know if I could trust him, but I knew I couldn't stop. Jessica thought she could break me. She was about to learn how wrong she was. Susan's car hummed as we drove to the police station, the USB, Ryan's notebook, and Frank's letters in my lap. My heart was racing, but my mind was clear. Jessica's lies, her video, that supposed third letter. She wasn't going to win. Ryan sat in the back, quiet, his hands clasped tight. I glanced at him in the rearview mirror, his face pale. Was he really with me? Or was this another mistake? Susan reached over, squeezing my arm. "You're doing the right thing, Linda," she said. I nodded, but my stomach twisted. What if Jessica's letter was real? What if it said I knew about Ryan's real mom all along? I pushed the thought away. I had proof, and I wasn't backing down. The police station was cold, all gray walls and buzzing lights. A detective, Officer Daniels, took us to a small room. He was older, with kind eyes but a no-nonsense voice. "What's this about?" he asked. I laid it all out. The wedding, the kitchen, the stolen $18,000, Jessica's family's lies, Frank's letters, Emily's USB. I showed him the notebook, the emails, the recorded call. Ryan shifted in his seat, then spoke up. "I saw Jessica's laptop," he said. "She was taking money from Mom's account. I didn't stop her, and I'm sorry." His voice shook, and I looked at him, surprised. He was telling the truth, at least this time. Daniels nodded, writing fast. "This is solid," he said. "We'll investigate. But there's something else." My heart sank. "What?" I asked. He pulled out a file. "Jessica Wilson filed a complaint this morning," he said. "Claims you stole $20,000 from her parents and sabotaged her wedding out of jealousy." My hands clenched. "That's a lie," I said, my voice loud. Daniels held up a hand. "She gave us a letter, supposedly from your ex-husband, Frank. Says you knew Ryan wasn't your son and agreed to raise him for money." My head spun. Money. I never took a dime from Frank. That's not true, I said, my voice breaking. Ryan stood up. She's lying, he said. My mom gave everything for me. Jessica's twisting it. Daniels looked at him, then me. We'll need to verify the letter, he said. But your evidence is strong. Stay reachable. We left, my legs shaky, Susan holding my arm. Outside, the air was sharp, like it was waking me up. Ryan grabbed my hand. Mom, I swear I didn't know about that letter, he said. His eyes were wet, but I pulled away. You knew enough, Ryan, I said. You let them hurt me. He nodded, tears falling, but I couldn't comfort him. Not yet. Susan drove us back, the car quiet. My phone buzzed. A text from Emily. Linda, Jessica's at my place. She's mad about the USB. She's got another file, something about a deal with Frank. I'm scared. My stomach dropped. Another file? I texted back. Stay safe. I'm coming. Susan shook her head. Linda, no. It's too dangerous. But I was done hiding. I need to face her, I said. Ryan looked at me. I'm coming too, he said. I didn't argue. Maybe he'd prove himself. We got to Emily's apartment, a small place with peeling paint. She opened the door, her face pale, eyes red. She's gone, Emily said, her voice shaking. But she left this. She handed me a USB drive, different from the first. She said, it's proof you're a liar. My hands trembled as I took it. Susan found Emily's laptop, and we plugged it in. There was one file. A scanned letter, Frank's handwriting again. Linda knew about Ryan, it said. She agreed to raise him for $50,000. I paid her half. My heart stopped. It was a lie, but the signature looked real. I never saw this, I said, my voice barely there. Emily nodded. I know. Jessica forged it. I heard her talking to Mom about it. I looked at her shocked. Forged? I asked. She nodded, tears falling. They've been planning this for years, Linda. They wanted Ryan and your money. I felt like I was falling, but Susan grabbed my arm. This is good, she said. If it's forged, we can prove it. Ryan stepped forward, his jaw tight. I'll tell the police, he said. I know Jessica's tricks. I'll help. I looked at him, my heart torn. Could I trust him? Before I could answer, my phone rang. Officer Daniels. Mrs. Thompson, we checked Jessica's letter, he said. It's suspicious. The signature's off. Bring any new evidence you have. My hands shook with relief, but then Emily gasped. She's back, she whispered, pointing to the window. Jessica's car was outside, her face angry through the glass. My heart raced. She wasn't done with me. I grabbed the new USB, my voice steady. Let her come, I said. I'm ready. Susan nodded. Ryan stood by me, and Emily locked the door. Jessica thought she could scare me. She was wrong, and I was about to show her how strong I'd become. Jessica's car door slammed outside Emily's apartment, the sound sharp in the quiet night. My heart pounded, but I stood firm, the new USB clutched in my hand. Susan whispered, Stay calm, Linda. We've got this. Ryan stepped closer, his jaw tight, like he was ready to fight. Emily's hands shook as she peeked through the blinds. She's coming, she said, her voice barely there. The doorbell rang loud and angry, and I took a deep breath. This was it. Jessica wasn't going to push me around anymore. Emily opened the door, and Jessica stormed in, her eyes blazing. You traitor! She yelled at Emily, then turned to me. And you, Linda, you're done. I've got proof you're a liar, and the police will lock you up. I laughed, not because it was funny, but because I was done being scared. Proof, I said, holding up the USB. You mean this forged letter? Emily told me everything. Jessica's face froze, just for a second, then she smirked. You think you're smart, she said. That letter's real enough to ruin you. Frank said you took money to raise Ryan. Everyone will believe it. Ryan stepped forward, his voice shaking but strong. Stop lying, Jessica, he said. I know what you did. I saw the bank records, the texts. You stole from my mom. Jessica's smirk faded, her eyes darting to him. You're picking her over me, she said, her voice low. Ryan nodded. Yeah, I should have done it sooner. The room went quiet, like the air was holding its breath. Jessica's face twisted, like she was about to explode. But then she pulled out her phone. Fine, she said. Let's see what the police think. She started dialing, but Susan grabbed her arm. "Not so fast," she said, holding up her own phone. "I recorded everything you just said." Jessica's eyes widened, and she lunged for the phone, but Ryan blocked her. "Enough," he said, his voice hard. I watched, my heart racing, as Jessica backed up, her hands shaking. "You can't prove anything," she said. But her voice was weak now, like she knew she was losing. Emily spoke up, her voice small but clear. "I'll tell the police everything," she said. "I have more texts, Jessica. From you and Mom, planning to frame Linda." Jessica turned on her, her face red. "You're my sister," she yelled. "How could you?" Emily's eyes filled with tears. "Because you're wrong," she said. "You hurt Linda, and I can't live with that." Jessica stared at her, then at me, and for the first time, I saw fear in her eyes. She wasn't in control anymore. I stepped forward, my voice steady. "You thought you could erase me," I said. "You put me in a kitchen, stole my money, lied about me. But I'm not invisible. Not anymore." Jessica's phone slipped from her hand, hitting the floor with a thud. She looked around, like she was trapped, then ran for the door. Ryan grabbed her arm, but I shook my head. "Let her go," I said. "She can't hide from this." Jessica yanked free and ran to her car, the engine roaring as she sped off. The room was silent, heavy with what just happened. Emily sank onto the couch, crying. Susan hugged her, whispering, "You did good." Ryan looked at me, his eyes wet. "Mom, I'm so sorry," he said. I wanted to hug him, to say it was okay, but I couldn't. "Not yet. You've got a lot to make up for," I said, my voice soft but firm. He nodded like he understood. My phone buzzed. "Officer Daniels." "Mrs. Thompson, we've got Jessica's parents at the station," he said. "They're talking. Bring that new evidence now." My hands shook with relief, but then Susan's phone rang. It was Mary, her voice panicked. "Linda, Jessica's at the hotel, telling everyone you attacked her," she said. "She's got a crowd believing her." My stomach twisted. Jessica was still fighting, still lying. I looked at Susan, Ryan, and Emily, their faces determined. "We're going to the police," I said. "Then the hotel. This ends tonight." Susan nodded, grabbing the USB and letters. Ryan picked up his notebook, his eyes steady. Emily wiped her tears. "I'm coming too," she said. I looked at them, my heart full despite the pain. I wasn't alone anymore. We piled into Susan's car, the night dark around us. My mind raced with everything. Jessica's lies, Ryan's betrayal, Emily's courage. I thought of Frank's letters, how he tried to warn me, and how I'd spent years giving everything for a son who wasn't mine. But then I thought of the kitchen, that greasy window, and how I walked away. I wasn't that woman anymore. I was Linda, and I was strong. Jessica thought she could break me, but she didn't know me. Not really. As we drove to the station, I felt something new. Not just anger or hurt, but power. I was ready to face her, to end this, and to show the world who I really was. We pulled up to the police station, the night air cold against my face, as I stepped out of Susan's car. My heart was thumping, but I felt steady, like I was finally in control. Ryan carried his notebook. Emily clutched her phone with those texts, and Susan held the USB and Frank's letters like they were gold. Jessica thought she could outsmart us, but we had the truth. Inside, Officer Daniels was waiting, his face serious but calm. "You've got more?" he asked, nodding at the USB. I handed it over, my voice strong. "This proves Jessica forged that letter about me," I said. "And there's a recording of her admitting it." His eyebrows went up, and he plugged the USB into his computer. Susan's recording played, Jessica's voice sharp and mean, saying the letter would ruin me. Daniels leaned back, nodding. "This changes everything," he said. "We're bringing her in." Before I could feel relief, my phone buzzed. Mary again. "Linda, Jessica's at the hotel bar, telling everyone you tried to hit her," she said, her voice low. "She's got some guy backing her up, saying he saw it. People are eating it up." My stomach twisted. A guy. Who was she dragging into this? I told Daniels, and his face hardened. "Sounds like a witness she bought," he said. "We'll handle it. Stay here." But I couldn't stay. "I'm going to the hotel," I said, my voice firm. Susan grabbed my arm. "Linda, no," she said. "Let the police do their job." Ryan stepped up, his eyes steady. "I'm going with her," he said. Emily nodded, wiping her eyes. Me too. Daniel sighed. Be careful, he said. We'll meet you there with Jessica. The hotel was buzzing, all fancy lights and loud voices. We pushed through the crowd to the bar, where Jessica stood on a chair, her face red, tears streaming like she was in a movie. Linda attacked me, she cried, pointing at a man next to her. He saw it. The guy tall with a slick suit nodded. She came at Jessica with a bottle, he said. The crowd gasped, their eyes on me as I walked in. My heart pounded, but I didn't flinch. That's a lie, I said, loud enough for everyone to hear. Jessica's eyes locked on mine, and for a second she looked scared. Then she smirked. You're desperate, Linda, she said. Give it up. I shook my head, my voice calm but strong. You forged a letter, stole my money, and put me in a kitchen. I'm not the one who's desperate. The crowd went quiet, and I saw Mary in the corner, her phone out recording. Ryan stepped forward, holding up his notebook. Jessica took $18,000 from my mom, he said, his voice shaking but clear. I helped her, and I was wrong. I'm sorry, Mom. His eyes met mine, and I felt a pang, like the boy I raised was still there. Emily spoke next, her voice small but brave. My sister lied about everything, she said. I have texts proving it. The crowd started whispering, their eyes on Jessica now. Her face went pale, and the guy next to her shifted, like he wanted to run. You're all liars, Jessica yelled, but her voice cracked, and people weren't buying it anymore. Then the doors swung open, and Officer Daniels walked in with 2 cops. Jessica's eyes widened, and she tried to step down, but the crowd blocked her. Jessica Wilson, Daniels said. You're under arrest for fraud and forgery. The cops moved toward her, and she screamed. You can't do this. Linda's the criminal. But nobody listened. The guy in the suit bolted, but a cop grabbed him. He's with her, Daniels said, nodding at me. Good call coming here. They cuffed Jessica, her cries echoing as they let her out. The crowd was buzzing, phones out, recording it all. Mary ran to me, hugging me tight. You did it, Linda, she said, tears in her eyes. I nodded, but I felt numb, like it wasn't real. Outside the air was cool, and I stood by Susan's car, my hands shaking. Ryan came up, his face soft. Mom, can we talk? He asked. I looked at him, my heart heavy. You hurt me, Ryan, I said. You knew they were using me. He nodded, tears falling. I was weak, he said. But I love you. You're my mom, blood or not. Those words hit me hard, and I felt tears sting my eyes. I didn't hug him, but I nodded. We'll see, I said, my voice soft. Emily walked over, her eyes red. I'm sorry for my family, she said. I touched her arm. You did right, I said. That's enough. Susan hugged me, whispering, You're a warrior, Linda. I didn't feel like one, but I was starting to believe it. Then my phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Linda, it's Karen, Jessica's mom. We need to talk. I have one more thing from Frank. My heart skipped. Another twist. What else could there be? I showed Susan, and her face hardened. Don't trust her, she said. Ryan shook his head. It's a trick, Mom. But I wasn't sure. Karen was in custody, maybe she was breaking too. I texted back. Where? She replied. My house tomorrow. Come alone. My stomach twisted, but I felt that fire inside me. The one that got me through the kitchen, the lies, the betrayal. I'd face her, whatever she had. I wasn't scared anymore. I stood outside Karen's house the next morning, my hands sweaty, my heart thumping like a drum. The street was quiet, but my mind was loud. Karen's text about one more thing from Frank kept looping in my head. Was it another lie? Susan begged me not to come alone, but I needed to face this myself. I knocked, and Karen opened the door, her face tired, her eyes red like she'd been crying. Linda, she said, her voice soft, not like the smug woman at the wedding. Come in. I stepped inside, my purse heavy with the USB and Frank's letters, ready for whatever she had. The living room smelled like old coffee, and a small box sat on the table, my name scratched on it in Frank's handwriting. My stomach twisted. Another twist was coming, I could feel it. Karen sat down, her hands shaking. I'm sorry, she said, looking at the floor. For everything, Jessica, the money, the lies. I didn't trust her, not after all she'd done. Why am I here? I asked, my voice sharp. She pushed the box toward me. Frank left this for you, she said. I found it when we cleaned his stuff after he died. I kept it, thinking I could use it. But I was wrong. I opened the box, my hands trembling. Inside was a letter, a photo, and a small key. The photo showed me and Ryan, him just a baby, smiling in my arms. My throat tightened. The letter was short, Frank's handwriting shaky. Linda, it said. You're Ryan's mom no matter what. I lied about the money. I never paid you. You loved him for free. Keep this key. It's to a safe deposit box. It's yours. My eyes burned, tears spilling. Frank lied to protect me, not to hurt me. I looked at the key, small and silver, glinting in the light. What's in the box? I asked Karen. She shook her head. I don't know, she said. Frank said it was for you to make things right. I didn't believe her, not fully, but her voice was different, broken. Then my phone buzzed, Officer Daniels. Mrs. Thompson, Jessica confessed, he said. She forged the letter about the money. Her parents helped. We've got them all. My heart lifted, but then he added, there's more. Jessica said Karen's got a video from Frank, something about Ryan's real mom. My head spun. A video? I looked at Karen, my voice hard. What video? I asked. Her face went pale, and she stood walking to a drawer. She pulled out a USB, her hands shaking. I was going to destroy it, she said. But you deserve to see it. We plugged the USB into her TV, and Frank's face appeared, older, sick, his voice weak. Linda, if you're seeing this, I'm gone, he said. Ryan's real mom, she didn't want him. I gave him to you because I knew you'd love him. Karen's family found out, and they've been using it against you. I'm sorry I lied. The video cut to a woman, her face blurry, holding a baby. I don't want him, she said, her voice cold. Take him. The screen went black, and I sat there, my heart breaking and healing all at once. Ryan was mine, not by blood but by choice. Karen was crying now, her head in her hands. I used it to control Jessica, she said. To make her go after your money. I'm so sorry. I stood up, my legs shaky but my heart strong. You don't get to say sorry, I said. You hurt me, my son stole from me. But I'm done letting you win. I grabbed the USB, the box and the key, my voice steady. This goes to the police. Karen nodded, tears falling, but I didn't care. I walked out, the sun bright on my face, and called Susan. It's over, I said, my voice cracking. I've got everything. She whooped loud and happy. Come home, Linda, she said. We're celebrating. I smiled, tears in my eyes, and drove to the bank, the key burning a hole in my pocket. The safe deposit box was small, tucked in a quiet vault. I opened it, my hands shaking, and found a stack of papers and a note from Frank. Linda, this is for you, it said. I saved what I could. The papers were bonds, worth $50,000 in my name. My knees went weak, and I sat down crying. Frank hadn't paid me to raise Ryan. He'd saved this for me for all I'd done. I drove to Susan's, the bonds in my purse, my heart full. Ryan was there, his face nervous. Mom, he said, standing. I told the police everything. Jessica's gone for good. I looked at him, my son, and felt the hurt but also the love. We've got work to do, I said, but I hugged him tight like when he was little. He hugged me back, crying, and I knew we'd find a way. That night Susan, Emily, Mary, and Ryan sat around the table, laughing, eating pizza. I looked at them, my family, not by blood but by heart. I'd been pushed down, lied to, used, but I stood up. I learned I was stronger than I thought. That love isn't about blood but about showing up every day. The moral hit me hard. Nobody can take your worth unless you let them. I wasn't the woman in the kitchen anymore. I was Linda, and I was enough.